Hi, this is Barry here, and you are very, very welcome to today's episode of the Passion to Profits podcast. Now, in today's podcast episode, we're going to talk about content marketing. Now, what I would recommend before we go further, all the advice I give you in this, all the tips and the tricks aren't guaranteed to work. Now, what I mean by that is, whatever I give you in this episode, I want you to go test it. I want you to go and see, does it work for you? Because you will find sometimes people would give you advice. They'll say, oh, you should be on TikTok. You should be on YouTube. You should be writing articles on Medium. And you find that when you try out those things, they don't work. And sometimes we feel because everybody else is doing it that we should be doing it. And even though we're not having success on it, we need to continue doing it. No, that's nonsense. What you need to do is you need to find out what works, throw away all the stuff that doesn't work for you, and then keep doing the things that work. Now, when it comes to content marketing, I want you to think about two people before you create any content. First one is you. And what I mean by you is I want you to think about you as a person. Now, when it comes to content marketing, it's going to be something that you're going to have to do long term. So it should be something that you like. You know, if you're building a business around your passion, your content marketing should be something that you enjoy doing. So what I'd say to you is, think about you as a person. Do you like writing? Do you like making videos? Do you like maybe talking? And what I do is I would lean into the things that I like doing. You know, if you like making videos and then everybody else is doing blog posts, everybody else is doing articles on Medium, and you go chasing after them, how long do you think you would keep up writing if you didn't like writing? You wouldn't do it very long. So lean into the things that you like doing. If you like making videos, well then you can be guaranteed you're going to show up here consistently making videos for TikTok, YouTube, or whatever platform you put it on. So lean into what you're good at. Lean into what you like doing. And you will find that in most things, building a business around your passion and making money online is going to involve you being consistent for a long time before you have a lot of success. So you need to find out what you like doing so that you can keep doing it again and again and again, regardless of what anyone else says. Lean into what you like doing. Second thing I'd say to you is think about your end user. Now, your end user right now, as they find your blog post, as they find your video, or maybe listen to your podcast episode, are coming at that content with this mantra in their head. What's in it for me? They're thinking to themselves, well, why should I read that blog post? Why should I watch that video? Why should I take the time to listen to the podcast episode? So what you need to do is you need to lift yourself out of your head. You need to put yourself in the head of your end user. And just ask yourself that question. You know, why would anyone read this blog post? Why would anyone give me a few minutes of their time to watch this video? Why would anyone listen to me in a podcast episode? And by you actually asking yourself that question, you're going to take your content creating a lot more seriously. You are going to create good content because you know that by creating good content, it means your audience is going to read your content, watch your content, listen to your content because it's benefiting them. So think about that when it comes to creating your content. Is you, what do you like doing regardless of what anyone else says? And then two, what does your audience want to spend time watching, listening and reading? Now, when it comes to content, you need to realize that your content is going to attract your audience. You're going to find if you are creating a certain type of content, it's going to attract certain types of people. And what you need to do is you need to think about, before you actually start creating content, you need to work backwards for a minute. And you need to think to yourself, well, this product that I have, this coaching that I'm hopefully going to be doing and sell as a service, this store that I have, what is the type of person that will be interested in that? And then by working backwards and knowing your end user, what they want or what type of person that they are, it's going to give an idea of the type of content that you should be creating. Say, for example, maybe I am selling an ebook for elderly people who have a new dog in the house. Now, you know for a fact, common sense would tell you that I should not be creating content for single people who've got a dog in the house, because that's not my audience. That's not the people that I'm hoping to sell my ebook to. It's elderly people. So by me knowing that it's elderly people that I'm selling my ebook to, well then all the content and all the things I'm going to talk about in my content is going to be issues that an elderly person would have who's got a dog. And by me creating that content for that person, it's going to attract that person to me. So don't be thinking about creating content for everyone. You need to think about who are the people who are going to be interested in your products, services, and in your business. And then what you need to do is you need to create the content for that person so that you'll attract them to your content and then on to your products and services. So think about that. Who is your end user? Another thing I'd say to you as well too is don't create those generic, those articles and those videos we see that says, 10 tips on this, the 10 fastest ways to lose weight, 5 tricks you need to know before you buy your first treadmill, and those kind of generic things. At one point, I think they probably were really popular, but we've seen so many of them now that we probably just skim through them, but we don't really take on the information that's in it because it's just too general, it's too generic, and it's just lifeless. So if you are looking to create content, what I would recommend you do is push all that aside for a moment and lean into pain points. And again, by knowing your end user, you should know the pain points that your user has. So again, going back to this elderly person who's got a dog in the house, what are their pain points? Well, the pain points are probably going to be something like, I've got a young dog, I haven't got the energy to keep up with it, and I'm struggling. I haven't got as good a health, and I really love to exercise this dog, but I know for a fact I'm letting him down because I'm not able to keep up with him. Now that's possibly a pain point. Another pain point for maybe an elderly person could be that maybe I don't have as much money. I can't buy the best dog food. So how can I buy maybe cheaper dog food, but make sure that the dog food that I am giving my dog is still going to give them a good life? That could be another pain point. So by me knowing the pain points, I'm sure you can see that by me creating a video on pain points of maybe that one about the dog food, that's going to be a lot more powerful to my audience instead of a video that says, 10 things you need to know when you're buying a packet of dog food. There's a difference in that. One is just lifeless. The other one has a lot more passion in it. It's a lot more information, and it's a lot more attractive to your end user. So think about that when you're creating content. Try and, create it around pain points, because at the end of the day, your end user has this mantra in their head, what's in it for me? And you can be guaranteed that they're going to be attracted to the one that's talking about their pain point than something generic that they're never going to put into action. Another thing I'd say to you as well too is when it comes to content, don't assume that all the content is content that you have to create. You can allow your users to create your content. Now, easy ways of doing that is simply creating quizzes and getting your audience to fill it out. And by doing something like a quiz, it gives them something fun to do, something different to do. But if you set the quiz up properly, you can actually do a little bit of research in the background and find out what your users are like. What do your readers like? What type of person are they? So there is ways of actually setting up quizzes where you can actually sneakily gather information about the people so that you can use it for your next content or your products or whatever it is you're looking to do with building a business. Now, another thing you should do too is maybe polls, is simply just asking questions, building a little interactive between you and them. Maybe making a statement that you know for a fact is going to maybe rub them up the wrong way, but that it's going to get their attention and it's going to build a little interaction between you and them. Another thing you could do is to create interactive content, and which is a really, really easy way to create content, is simply doing Q&A sessions. It could be just something as simple as just going live on YouTube or TikTok or some other platform, and then just inviting all your readers to it, and then just simply answering questions. And again, not only is it a great way of you showing off your expertise, but you can be gathering information as well too. What you can be doing is writing down the questions that they're giving you, and then that can be topics for your next blog post or your next podcast episode or whatever. So you can do a little bit of research by simply just switching on the camera and then just being interactive with your audience. And by being interactive as well too, it builds a stronger bond, because someone can ask you a question straight away and get an answer back straight away. And then by you doing this Q&A content, it shows that you're helpful. It shows that you're looking to make a difference, and then you're going to attract people closer to you because you seem like a good sort who's trying to help people out. Now, what I'd say to you as well too is that when it comes to creating content, another thing you should think about is, as you're creating content, is having a look at what's successful with your audience. You're going to find after you maybe write a few blog posts, maybe make a few videos or a couple of podcast episodes, that suddenly one of the two articles or one of the two videos just explode. They just take off. And whatever was in those topics was something that really, really spoke to your audience and they couldn't get enough of it. And what I'd recommend you should do is, when you find something that just explodes like that, have a look at the subject in that content that you created and think to yourself, is there maybe an ebook in this? Is there maybe a digital course? Is there maybe something that I can expand on? And then what you can do is you can actually test out product ideas by just keeping an eye on what goes viral, what explodes in your audience. It'll give an idea of what your audience likes. And of course, if you want to make money, if you want to build a good following, you need to give your audience more of what they like. And again, you could maybe use that topic maybe in another piece of content, but I would try to see if you can maybe expand on it to create some type of paid product. And it's an easy way of testing out ideas without you actually writing ebooks, and then maybe some of these ebooks or some of these digital courses not selling well. Just see what works. See what works and then expand on that and then test that idea out. Just simply take that article, turn it into an ebook, and then put the ebook up for sale and see how that goes. And if you find that the ebook sells well, then can you expand on the ebook and turn it into maybe a video course? So you can kind of snowball from that simple idea, from that article or that video or that podcast episode. Now, what I'd say to you as well too is that when it comes to creating content, you are your content. Pardon me, my brain went blank there for a second. But you are your content. Sometimes when it comes to creating content, we're always kind of, writing content for our audience. Again, going back to the elderly people with the dog, we would create content where we're writing articles for them, like how to buy dog food, how to do this, how to do that. But sometimes your audience might want to see what's on the other side of the camera. What do you do in your own downtime? What do you have your own dog? You could record videos as you're out maybe walking around the forest with your dog. You could maybe just set up a camera and show people working at your laptop, show them your work area, show maybe something, maybe a t-shirt that you bought, maybe that may be related or that your audience would like to see, and things like that. So you can also be part of your content. It's not all about just creating content for your audience. Sometimes they want to look the other way. Sometimes they want to see, what's going on behind the camera? What is that person doing when they're not writing these blog posts? All that can be content. And it's so easy to do. It's just easy just to, just take your phone and show somebody the latest books you've bought on your bookshelf, or your latest t-shirt, or maybe a mug that you bought, or maybe just go out for a walk in nature and show people what you do in your downtime. So it shows that you're not totally obsessed on your business all the time. It shows that you're more all-rounded character, and people are nosy. We love sitcoms. We love all those reality shows because we like to kind of look in the window, what's going on. So allow your audience to look the opposite way and see what's going on in your life. And that can be content for you as well too. Now, what I'd say to you as well too is, again, going back to this episode, I mentioned it earlier, what works and doesn't work. As you're creating content, keep an eye on the stats, keep an eye on comments, shares, likes, and what happens with your content. As I said, sometimes content just takes off, but sometimes you find that maybe whatever you're doing right now isn't working. The whole world can say, you should be on TikTok, but if you find when you're doing TikTok videos, nobody is clicking on the link, going over to your website, then maybe you shouldn't be doing videos. It might work for other people, but it mightn't be what your audience wants. So what you can simply do is take a content to another platform, try that out, and then see how you get on over there. But always keep testing and tweaking and see what works and doesn't work. And just because everybody else is doing something, if it doesn't work for you, what the hell is the point in doing it? Just focus on the things that does work and keep repeating that again and again. But then again, test the odd idea as well too. If you do hear somebody mention a new platform or something like that, give it a go. But again, test to see, is it worth your while? And if it's not, go back to the things that do work. And what I'd say to you as well too is that when it comes to content creating, I think sometimes one thing that holds us back is that we have this kind of idea that we need to go back to a blank page all the time. That, if I'm going to record a video today, it means I need to sit down with a blank piece of paper and I need to work out, what should I talk about in this video? Or if I'm going to write a blog post, well, we need this blank page, and what am I going to write about? Now, that can work, but it's a waste of time. And what I would recommend, instead of burning out brain cells trying to think about what the hell should I make today, what should I write about, what should I talk about, never start from scratch. And what I mean by that, it's something the great Dan Kennedy said one time, is that to save yourself time, go back to something that was already done before. Now, what I can do, even with this video here, if I had maybe another video to do tomorrow, I could start from scratch. I could scratch my head. I could say, well, what the hell do I create today? Or what I could do is I can take a small segment out of this video, and then I can talk about it tomorrow. I could take something like maybe testing, that testing idea. I could take that in the video tomorrow, and then I could do a whole video on testing. So I didn't need to come up with the idea for testing. It was something I've already talked about in this video. So whatever content you create, instead of looking at a blank page and just thinking, what the hell should I do today? Go back to your old content. Is there maybe an article that you can break down into different segments? Can you expand on a small segment? Is there something maybe you mentioned in a blog article or a podcast episode that's wrong now and you've changed your mind on that topic? What you can do is you can come back again and talk about that topic, but talk about it from your new angle or the new information that you have right now that you don't agree with that previous thing. So don't start off at a blank slate. Go back to your old content, break it down, reuse it, and just use it as an idea generator rather than just looking at a blank page today and not knowing what to talk about. So I really hope this podcast episode was helpful to you. As I said, test out these ideas. Just because I've said it doesn't mean it might work for you. See what works, see what doesn't work. And again, be aware of your end user. It's not all just about you. It's the other person on the other side of the camera, the blog post, the podcast episode. Why should they spend any time spending time with you? And once you take care of them, they'll keep coming back again and again and again. So as always, if you have any comments, please leave them below this video or leave them below the podcast episode. And if you would like to pick up a copy of our latest report, which is showing you 10 proven ways to turn your skills into money, go to the show notes of this podcast episode right now, click on it and go over there and pick up the report. And as always, have a lovely day. Take care. Bye-bye.